system. Every learning benchmark, I have missed them. I'm at risk. This disability affecting me. I can barely read. I'm writing these letters down backwards as they tell me to move forwards. I'm at risk. I failed the third grade because the third grade missed me. I got a speech impediment that got my tongue in the pedigree. Who can hear me? Nobody clearly. I'm at risk. My dad disowns me at 9 years old. Told me I wasn't his. He lived a life behind bars, never taking care of his kids. I'm at risk. Grew up in poverty. Never really had currency. Brothers resorted to selling crack, cocaine, and weed just to have money. I'm at risk. Got arrested and incarcerated before 14. Said I wouldn't make it out, just another lost teen. I'm at risk. Broken family household. TV and society is my teacher. Who really got some control? I'm at risk. We on welfare, but at least we got health care. Them SSI checks showed us that the government cared, or showed us that we were government dependent and didn't care. At risk. Mom's boyfriend tried to kill her. Grew up in a trap house, all I know is drug dealers. I'm at risk. Never had a curfew. Learned discipline and drive from football and working hard. I'm at risk. Lived alone, home alone. Roamed the streets after the light pole was on. I'm at risk. Older siblings raising you, only teaching you what they know from their worldview, which is minute. I'm at risk. You were molested as a child. Mom doesn't believe you, so running away from home was worthwhile. I'm at risk. Teenage pregnancies mixed with HIV and STDs. You say you want to live young, wild, and free. I'm at risk. Got to make it out the hood before you make it across the stage. I'm at risk. Dodging bullets just to make it home. Hit or miss. Why does it feel like you already don't exist? I'm at risk. Got to wear different clothes just to live. Got to wear different clothes just to live. Lost your identity because no one told you who you are, who you could be. I'm at risk. You angry at your situation. You can't sleep at night. All you do is fight. You've been fighting your whole life. I'm at risk. Clothes not clean, can't keep up with your hygiene. I'm at risk. Your parents can't speak English and you learn it as a second language. You're the household interpreter and it's hard for you to manage. I'm at risk. Come on, sir. Whew. Dad doesn't know how to deal with the stress, so he beats on you and mom to deal with it best. I'm at risk. Dad's fed up with paying the bills, so he leaves home and now you and mom are missing meals. I'm at risk. I'm young, black, and I'm talking for the cops. They're killing us, but when it's black on black crime, I'm gonna stop. I'm at risk. You at your own risk as you cope with the pain. You cut through your veins as the blood drips. You believe that your reality will change. For a moment, it seems. At risk. See, as I go down the list of what society calls at risk, this may be you and this may be your view, but to be a dropout or a failure in life is not true. Understand I was many of these things, and many of these things were my friends, and many of these situations still have my generation locked in chains. See, society has labeled us. Based on their statistics, you're statistically likely to be another statistic like me. Statistically speaking, I was bound to fail. And based on my situation, I was bound to be either dead or in jail. And if this world had any say so about my hardships, it would say I would be bound for hell. But label us or not, being at risk is not excuse to live reckless, even though you've been crossed out on the X list, forced to exit any thoughts out of your mind of making it, because, let's be honest, your situation has been less than perfect. As you feel everything in life has been so undeserving, as you've been battered and abused, you feel that pain and struggle loves you. I confess, I've been there too. Dysfunctional norms will have you thinking that everything's cool. I know those dark nights have changed you and flipped your view, as you see everybody dying all around you. You look at it if it's normal and shrug your shoulders and say, that happens to me too. But based on our sin and corruption, society has labeled us. But you are not at risk because what society has painted. You are at risk because the devil aims to steal your canvas. He dyes dark lies in your mind and tell you, since you've been through these things, a loving God doesn't exist. And if so, why would a loving God allow this to happen to you? This is so far from the truth. You must understand that we live in a fallen world where sin reigns and bring pain, shame, and remind us of it 10 times over again. And will beat you and beat you and beat you till you give in. But thanks be to God that Jesus came and broke every chain, giving us power over sin and death, using the foolish things of this world to shame the wise, opening the eyes of the blind. Victories in Him. I am His, so victory shall be mine. No one may have told you this, but God has a plan and a purpose for your life. You may not see it right now, but when you come to Christ, the hardships are forming you into His likeness. Because what the devil intended for evil, God intended for good. And let's not get it misunderstood. God's sovereignty is God's sovereignty. Simply put, He's in control. You must trust Him and learn to let go. See, from the world's eyes, I wasn't supposed to make it, and neither were you. But when God writes your story, statistics is just data that can't hold up to the truth. So I stand here before you, a college graduate, reading and writing and proclaiming the truth. And you may be here like me, once broken and damaged, and in need of a loving Savior who died for you. I'm at risk, but God.
Yes, God.